Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. It's TBR time today, and I was a little bit stuck for October, so I've turned to my patrons to pick my TBR for me. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but when I was sitting down and trying to pick my October TBR, put the books together that I was going to read for the month, I was a little bit stuck. Perhaps I was a little bit short of inspiration on that list. I think it's because I'm coming towards the end of the year. I'm starting to gradually run out of things that I really am excited to read because I've already read them. I've put them on my reading plan for the year, which I'm doing very well with. And those are the books basically that I'm getting to quickly because those are the ones I'm excited to. That stands to reason. So I thought for this month I would ask for help. I've put out a call to my patrons basically to pick my TBR for me. I've said basically free reign. Here's my TBR on a Google Sheet spreadsheet. Knock yourselves out. Pick me a book or two for me to read, and I've only got a few that have picked a book for me, which is great because I'll only read a few a month. But I did say that any they did pick, I would carry over to the next month if I don't get to them in October. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've got a few books to go through today. The first one is The Exception, because this is one that's not picked by my patrons. It's a late arc that came through after I put out the call for help. So this is one that I'm planning for October because it is Drown Deep, Blood Scouts Book 2 by Phil Williams. It comes out, I think it's October the 22nd, so it's obviously going to get a bit more priority for me because I want to read it and be able to review it on or around release date. I really had a great time proofreading the Blood Scouts Book 1, which was However Many Must Die. It was just such an insane world and great characters. I loved all the interactions. The banter between the different characters was top notch. I really enjoyed it and definitely recommend it. If you're looking for a fantasy that's a little bit different, it's got a First or Second World War kind of vibe. That's the kind of inspiration, I guess, for the setting, but it takes it to a whole new fantasy level. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Judging where the story went and how we ended at the end of However Many Must Die, I don't really know what to expect from this one. Things are going to be different. I'm going to find out how, but I'm continuing the journey with Wild Wish, and we'll see who else joins for the ride. So on to the books themselves that my patrons picked, and the first one that came out was Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. This was picked by Terry. I read the first chapter of this one recently and I quite enjoyed it, so I am looking forward to this one. It's a bit of a chunky one, and it's one that I believe I'm going to be doing on audio because it is available as an audiobook. 400 years ago, a cataclysmic war cracked the world open. Amidst the ashes, the Dawn Republic now stands guard over the lands littered with eldritch relics and cursed by plague-sworn outbreaks. But a new conflict is looming, and brother and sister Gaia and Maya have found themselves on opposite sides of it. At the age of 5, Maya was taken by the Twilight Order and trained to be a centaur wielding forbidden arcana to enforce the Dawn Republic's rule. On that day, her brother Gaia swore to destroy the order that stole his sister, whatever the cost. So that's kind of what I read in the opening chapter. That was those events happening, the sister being taken away. 12 years later, brother and sister are two very different people. She's the Twilight Order's brightest prodigy. He's the thief, bandit and revolutionary. Together, the siblings will discover that not even ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. So definitely excited for this one. Terry really enjoyed the series, which is why he's picked it for me. I love this cover, and it's a book that I'm hopefully going to love as well. Nina's then picked two books for me. The first of these I'm going to read as a physical read. I'm not going to prioritise this one because it is Sundered Souls, which is book 2 of the Brotherhood of the Eagle by Tim Hardy. Now, I just read in September the first book, Hall of Bones, in this series, so I'm going to prioritise Nina's other choice, and if I get to Sundered Souls, if I have the opportunity to, then I'll look for it then. If not, I'll read it in November, but it's a series that I definitely want to continue because I had a great time with Hall of Bones, so it's one that I want to continue that enjoyment with and not take too long before I do pick it up again. The second book that Nina suggested to me is another one that I think is available on audiobook, and this one is Seeds of War, book one of the Smokesmiths by João F. Silva. Now again, this is one that I've read the opening chapter of, and I really enjoyed it. It was very intriguing. I've also read the prequel novella, I was just trying to remember the name of it, Ruins of Smoke. There we go, nearly dropped it out of my head again. I didn't really enjoy the novella that much, I have to say, and being a prequel novella, that maybe would fill me with a bit of trepidation for reading the book, but I don't have that trepidation. I enjoyed the first chapter here. The prequel novella, I think, dropped me a little bit too deep into the world, and I think I really would have enjoyed it more. I would have got more out of it had I read book one before the prequel novella. So we'll see how I get on. He ran like the monster he was, and the smoke followed. Gimlaw is a single mother and a war veteran turned crime boss set on protecting her family and her town. Obrasis is a petty thief pretending to be God to protect a terrible secret. Red now is the world's most feared mercenary, but his best days are behind him and there's only one job left to do. In a world of dangerous monsters and devastating smoke magic, the seeds of war are being planted, allies must be treasured and enemies defeated. The Smokesmiths is a gritty, epic fantasy series with a harsh world of smoke magic, alien creatures and ancient secrets where characters do their best to come out on top. Peace will not last. I don't like that synopsis. It's a bit basic, it's a bit repetitive for me, and yeah, you know, characters will do their best to come out on top. You can say that for pretty much any book. However, I'm hoping that the book itself is going to be a lot better than I found that synopsis. We shall find out before too long. And then the last book that I'm putting on for the TBR for October was picked by Tufty, and this one's got very, very small font for the synopsis on the back of the book, but it's a sci-fi. It is Umbra Sentient Stars by Amber Toro. This one I've heard is a bit of a romance basis to it. There is a bit of a romance basis to it, so I don't know, what do we call that? Romantic-sci-fi? I'm not sure. Tufty uses romantic-sci. Maybe I'll go with that one. Earth that was, all in capitals, has faded into myth. After millennia spent wandering, humans are no longer nomads. 12 tribes stand allied under the United Tribal Axis, but there is a signal in the darkness that threatens to destroy everything. All Skylar wanted after leaving the Navy was to be left alone, just her ship, the stars and a new adventure. But when a strange virus disables her ship, she's thrown into the middle of a conflict she doesn't understand and is forced to take on responsibilities she swore she never would again. Hinata always followed the rules, honour above all else. He always won until he didn't. Sentenced to exile for his failures, he's determined to prove himself, but the odds are stacked against him when a mysterious woman arrives on his station and chaos threatens to break the tenuous peace. Freya was always angry, an outcast playing the part of an admiral and Black Ops operative, but she's tired of playing a pawn in the Empress's games, and when she's stranded on the wrong side of enemy lines after a vengeful battle, she's forced to ally with her adversaries to clear her name. So we have a rogue, a commander, and an admiral, brought together by circumstance, held together by duty. Can they find a way to work together and save humanity? I'm hoping so, because that's obviously what I'm going to be looking at hearing about in this book. I do like the cover, it's pretty cool. I've heard lots of good things about this. Hopefully it's one that's going to work for me, and I'll find out soon. So those are the books that I'm looking at reading. I do also have a carryover because another arc got in the way and I haven't managed to read yet. It's not on the shelf. There it is. I knew it was somewhere. Death's Disciple by Emma L. Adams. So this one is remaining on my carryover list. It's a bit of a shame because I said when I put this on my TBR originally that something else always seems to come into the way. Something seems to get in the way, and I never seem to get to this one. I will definitely get to this one by the end of the year, but it now might be next month instead of October, or instead of September as it was originally planned. So that is what happens with a TBR sometimes, because my reading pace is a bit up and down, and it does vary the number of books that I'm able to get through each month. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully my patrons have picked some good books for me, and I won't have to have some harsh words with them. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these and how you think I'm going to find them, and also what are you planning to read in October as well. I'll hopefully see you in the next video sometime soon, but until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.